All right, let's take a look through the highlights of this game. And as you mentioned, Lynn in the first quarter foul trouble,
Right.
and he's not playing a lot. The Knicks, Kelly from the floor in the first quarter goes 6 for 24, and yet after one, they're only down by 6 points.
Yeah, well, you got to take the good with the bad, and the Knicks certainly had to go through some growing pains early in this ball game because they did not shoot the ball well. And the way it looked, Washington was doing a pretty good job of forcing them into some shots, and these are some open shots, but they didn't get anything to go down. And early on, we talked about them going 6 of 24. Bill Walker took, maybe too many threes early in the ball game, to suffice to try to get your team involved. You want to look for easier shots. Try to take the ball aggressively to the basket rather than settling for those jump shots. And the Knicks offense was just flat. But the good news was that Washington wasn't much better, and the Knicks only found themselves down 6 at the end of the quarter. So it was really, when you look at the whole picture, it wasn't really in a bad position to be in at that time.
I think the thing you noticed in those highlights, Kelly, is the fact that there was a lot of standing still on the Knicks side on the offense. Even when Jeremy Lin was in the game, there was too much standing and watching. It wasn't until later that you started seeing the flow start happening. Again, him driving and kicking. Too many times, I think, and you mentioned Bill Walker's 1 for 8 from downtown in this game. Took too many shots. So I think that was something they had to adjust pretty quickly, and they did.
Totally different story, though, in the second quarter. Knicks score 37 points. And Kelly, they go 14 of 21 from the floor. And Steve Novak for the second straight game. Huge lift from the outside.
Just as much as we talked about Steve Novak the last game, Steve Novak was the difference in this game. He gave the Knicks life in that second period. And, folks, I don't know why he's left open. I'm not going to answer for the Washington Wizards. But let me tell you, if you're guarding Steve Novak, your responsibility is to stay with him. Make everybody else have to worry about who's going to drive to the basket. You do not let him shoot. They allowed Steve Novak to shoot, and he burned them for 15 points in that second quarter.
They didn't look like the Wizards. They looked like the Washington Generals for a lot of time in this game, Kelly.
Almost worse than that, Alan. That's a pretty good point because I was...
Makes you want to come out of retirement, right?
I could not believe, what's going on down in Washington because, they are not playing smart basketball, and I'd almost ask for a refund. I mean, they're just not a smart team right now, and you see it. You look at John Wall. He's got a world of talent. He had 29 points and 6 assists. I thought he played a poor game. Why? Because he didn't control the game for his team.
Right.
29.6 assists.
Played by himself.
It was just, one and that's it. They just do not play smart and did not understand what the Knicks were doing to them. And because of that, the Knicks took advantage of it.
And they really opened up things, guys, in the third quarter. Jeremy Lin in the third quarter. He had 8 at the half, 12 in the third quarter, and Kelly blew things wide open.
Absolutely did. I think we're speechless at this point. We don't know what else to say about this guy. He comes in and just really making a difference. Driving to the basket. And here, you've seen the crossover. Everybody's saying, play him left, play him left. How about that finish? Did we know he could do that? Incredible highlight. But again, crossing over, keeping his dribble. Dribbles it very low, so it's very difficult to strip. But once again, Kelly, he's someone that, you
the scouts miss this.
You go
we see what he's doing now, 3 straight
But that's
games.
what the scouts find right now is the weaknesses. Well, what do? He's strong to his right, force him left, but he still can
coming
come
out of
back.
high school. He wasn't drafted coming out of Harvard. Where's this coming from?
Hold on. First of all, this is not just some guy off the street. So let's give the kid a lot more credit. This is a very talented high school player who played against top competition. He went to Harvard, which is not a basketball power, but he's a Division I school, and he did a very good job in college. So, this is not some fly-by-night. He was a good player. You know what I mean? It's not just some guy coming off the thing, and he's done well. He's had success. So
he did well in the summer league.
He's now getting an opportunity. He's starting to figure it out. We'll see as time goes on exactly where that ends up taking him.
But really, this is also it's a lot to do with the system, too, Kelly.
The
system is a big part of it. It fits him perfectly, right?
Yeah. But it hasn't fit the other guys that have played the point this year, that's for sure. All right, fourth quarter, Knicks were up by 9 after 3. Fourth quarter, Wizards were really unable, Kelly, to get very close at all. The Knicks ended up winning in a blowout.
Well, this was a good sign for the Knicks because they kept the pedal to the metal and started to continue to force their way inside, taking advantage of some poor rotations defensively, whether it was Shumpert, Tyson Chandler, a nice job on the drive there and a nice feed. And here's Novak once again. We don't see him put the ball on the floor. It actually forced him for a 15-foot jump shot. And then good ball movement. Fields at the end of this gets a bucket inside. And they continue to play as a team. They trust one another, believe in one another. They know that they're not the A team, But they're the next team, and that's good enough for them right now because they like one another, and you can see it out on the floor.
And the ball movement's getting contagious, right? And that's what happens, too. You start moving the ball, make nice passes, you look for that extra pass. I love that Jeremy Lin also slows down a little bit on the dribble and lets Tyson Chandler catch up and finds him. I mean, that's the sign of a good point guard, a good playmaking point guard, I think, is that, he reads the guy coming, so it's not just a hard whip pass and you better catch it.
No, but
it's sort of, I'll wait for you, you come and get me, and then I'll find you.
That's smart, Alan, because he knows that he can't be what he is unless he has those other guys around him. And don't we remember that Jeremy said how much fun it was to be playing team basketball before the last couple of games, how much fun it is to play team basketball. They continue to do that. That's why it's fun to him.
And let's not forget about Tyson Chandler. Season high 25 points.
Outstanding
also
again.
Beneficiary of all those passes, right.